IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Think of it as a special app or tool designed to make writing and testing computer programs easier for people learning to code or experienced programmers. Here is a simple analogy. Imagine you are writing a book. Without tools, you would write on paper, but with an IDE, it is like having a computer program like Microsoft Word that helps you type faster, checks your spelling, suggests better words, and even lets you see how your book would look when printed, all in one place. For programming, an IDE combines multiple tools you would need into one convenient package. I will break down the key tools and features of an IDE that makes programming easier. Let's start with code editor features. Imagine reading a book where all names are in red, all actions in blue, and all descriptions in green. That is what syntax highlighting does for code. It colors different parts differently to make them easy to identify. Compare the same code in Notepad and IDE. You see how useful is syntax highlighting? Like how your phone suggests words as you type, the IDE suggests code as you write. If you start typing system, it suggests completing it to system, and if you press enter and press a dot, then you see the out, and then if you do it again, you see the suggestions for print ln or print line. So IDE shows you the correct way to write the command. Code folding lets you temporarily hide blocks of code you are not working on, like folding up sections of a large map to focus on one area. For example, if I want to hide or fold these 4 loops, I need just to click on this icon. If I want to unfold this section, it is just needed to click on the icon again. With multiple windows and split screen features, you can look at different parts of your code side by side, like having multiple documents open on your desk. For example, here I have 2 different classes, main.java and car.java. Currently I can see main.java, and if I want to see the car class, I just need to click here on the name, and you can see this is the car class. I can move the car class here to different parts of the screen, so I can have those classes side by side. You can even have one class in 2 different split screens. For example, here I want to split the car.java class file into 2 different screens. To do so, just right-click on the car.java class name here and select split right or split down options. For example, if I select the split right, let me close this one. You see I have 2 instances of the car class here, and I can focus on different parts of the code. Refactor or search and replace helps you find specific pieces of code or make changes across multiple files at once. For instance, here in this class, I have a field model. As you can see, I have a spelling error here. If I want to change its name, I have to look for it among all other files to find and replace the old name. But with an IDE, I just refactor it, and changing all other places in the project where this method is used will be done by IDE. Let's fix the typo in this word here. You see, as I started to changing the name here, it is also changed here and here. Also, IDE suggests me to change the name of the method getModel to getModel with 1 L, and the method setModel also to setModel with 1 L. It is also fixed in another class. Here I have an object of the car class and called the getName and getModel methods, and as you can see, it is also fixed here in setModel and getModel. Refactoring sometimes saves you hours. Believe me, you will love this feature. Like having a teacher looking over your shoulder, the IDE underlines mistakes as you make them. If you forget to close a bracket or misspell a word, it lets you know immediately. Here I want to add a compile error to see how IDE detects this. If mistakenly here I type set model with 2 L's, IDE finds it before even compiling code. As you can see, the IDE highlights this code in red, and if I stay on the code, I can see the details about the problem, even before compiling the code. Not only does it point out errors, but it often suggests how to fix them, like a GPS offering a new route when you make a wrong turn. Look at this error. If I stay a bit on an error, the IDE tells me more about the error and also guides me how to fix it. That's great. Here IDE told me that you need to add a semicolon here. Breakpoints are like pause buttons you can put in your code. When the program runs and hits a breakpoint, it pauses so you can see exactly what is happening at that moment. Here I have a breakpoint on this line of code, and when execution of program reaches this line, it will stop there, so I can investigate the code. When you are in debugging mode, you can see the current value of any variable in your program, like being able to check the score at any point in a game. Here, when execution of the program hits this line, I don't know the values of variables. All I need is a breakpoint on this line to check out the values of variables here. For example, here in line 16, I have a breakpoint, and here in threads and variables, I can see, for example, car, its name, its model. Debugging also allows you to run your program one line at a time, like watching a slow motion frame by frame replay to understand exactly what is happening. For example, here I have a breakpoint on line 13, and if I start debugging the program, it will pause on this line and I can continue execution line by line. I will talk about debugging techniques in another video, so subscribe to the channel to not miss my next videos. All IDEs have something like Explorer or File Explorer or Project Management that shows all your project files in an organized tree structure, like having all your documents neatly organized in folders. For example, here you see I have a lot of source classes in different folders, all organized and accessible easily here in Explorer window. Version control system integration keeps track of all changes to your code, like having an unlimited undo button or being able to go back to any previous version of your work. You can see here the history of my work on this project. I will have another series talking about the Git version control system. Again, subscribe to the channel to not miss my next videos. I can talk about features of IDEs for hours. Features like running applications, emulators, testing tools, integration with external tools and services, and a lot more. But as the last feature for this video, I want to talk about integration with generative AI tools. This is the AI era, and I cannot ignore this important feature. Modern IDEs are increasingly integrating AI tools to make coding even easier. The AI assistants like GitHub Copilot or Amazon Q can suggest entire lines or blocks of code as you type. They can explain code or part of the code or generate new code for you. You can ask them questions about your code, and sometimes they give you nice suggestions to improve your code. But remember this, you are the captain and these tools are your assistant or your co-pilot. For example, I have Amazon Q here and I want to ask some questions about the code from Amazon Q. Let's ask Amazon Q that what these lines of code are doing. For this, I just get the code, paste here. The Amazon Q assistant start explaining the code, also give us some enhancement for the code, and even some example output for the enhanced code suggested. In another video, I will show you how to work with some of these AI assistants. The next step is installing two most favorite Java IDEs, IntelliJ IDEA and Visual Studio Code or VS Code. Like the video, hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next video.